My guest for this evening, is Felicity Palmateer. She's a professional surfer, she's an artist, she's an activist, and just a pretty cool chick from all accounts. You're our first lady guest on the podcast.
Cool.
So I don't know if that means anything or not.
Good to be first.
And you're also the first guest that I don't actually know. So
Day of firsts.
that's it. So it'll be different, but I'm sure we'll find some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Like the waves at the moment on the Goldie.
Oh, they're absolutely amazing. I mean, we've had such a big flat spell that, yes, finally arrived and far out. I've been surfing my brains out the last few days and my arms currently feel like noodles. But, yeah, it's been good. I had a contest today down at Kingscliff and far out. There was a bit of east in the swell yesterday, so there wasn't too much of a sweep going down the points. But then today swapped to south and my God.
Just ripping you down.
Yeah. Like we're talking like full Grommy style heats, like doing beach runarounds and catching one wave and hoping that you don't fall off because, you know, you're only going to catch one or two. Like it's pretty full on. It was good. It's good to get back in the jersey again. Start of the year.
Yeah, so you do the WSL big wave stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do you have aspirations to do the ladies tour?
Yeah. So I didn't, I had a pretty successful junior career and I've always done like been a competitive surfer, and then I was doing qualifying series from like 17 years old. So I was doing that before big wave surfing, but I've always loved big wave surfing. And that opportunity only came up a year ago now because to be invited to the first ever women's big wave event at Jaws. And yeah, but I've always done the qualifying series as well. And I don't like to really like say, oh, I'm just a big wave surfer or I'm just a, you know, competitive surfer.
You're just a surfer.
I just surf and I just make do with whatever conditions I have. And yeah, but yeah, so I almost did qualify for the tour when I was how old? 18.
Yeah.
So what happens, like the top 6 from the qualifying series go on and the bottom 6 from the World Tour drop off, and I finished number 7th when I was 18. So one of the girls got pregnant on tour and I got to go on for half of the year. So it was like this bittersweet sort of like, yeah, you're on. Yeah. And so I got to do like half the events. And yeah, and then after that I got so over competitive surfing because I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like traveling halfway around the world, like surfing waves that are worse than where I just came from, especially on the QS. Like it's pretty tough. And I just kind of like wasn't really loving surfing anymore. And so I stopped doing like competing for like a whole year and a half. And then the opportunity for the big wave thing come up and I was like, fuck, you know what? I'm just going to go for this because like I've always loved surfing big waves and I grew up in Western Australia. I was like, you know what?
They get decent waves.
Yeah, we do. Really good waves. And so I've always been used to power and this big swell came up and I'd let a few of the friends at home know that I wanted to like start getting into it. Because a lot of the boys down in Western Australia have skis and they're really hooked up and they're really dialed in. Like I knew that they'd look after me. And so this massive swell gets forecast, and this is back in 2015. And swell line's like forecasting the biggest like double XL swell in like years. And I get this email from my friend and he's like, hey, like
it's on.
It's on. And I was like, fuck, I didn't think we'd be going like, I thought we'd be like easing our way into it, you know?
This is too real.
I was like, shit, what have I got myself into? And I was like, nah, fuck it, like let's just go. And anyway, I booked a ticket, went back home to Western Australia. And I had 6 hours on the plane to think about what I was doing. I was just like, God. And I had no idea I did know what I was getting myself into, but far out. Anyway, and get off the plane, picks me up, drive down south, get out there the next morning and ended up towing a few waves at a spot called Cow Bommy, which is pretty well renowned, like down there is a big wave spot. And then after that, like kind of like reignited my love with surfing, and then I started training for big wave surfing. And I was like, shit, I feel like the best I've ever felt, like mentally and physically. I'm going to give competitive surfing
another crack, yeah.
And I just feel like I got there before without being so prepared. And now I feel the best I ever have felt. So I'm like, why wouldn't I try again? I don't want to have regrets, you know?
Because that's the thing with the big wave surfing is there's just so much consequence. And it goes away from just like you kind of go out on your board. Like I can go for a surf right now at Snapper by myself and be cool. You can't go to Cow Bommy in Western Australia without like skis, without, you know, even nowadays you've got the inflatable vests and that you've got a team of dudes, like the best dudes in the world, always almost nearly die. Like you see some of the, you know what I mean? Like it's heavy shit.
Yeah,
like
it
you
is.
can't just fucking rock up and have a crack. You know what I mean?
I know. It's funny. I mean, like, there's no like real training days for it. I mean, obviously you can go out on the ski when it's a little bit, a little bit small or whatever, and stuff around and get the feel of being on the ski and how the vests work and everything. But the days you practice are the days when it's big.
It's just
and
game day.
There's just consequence, like straight up. Like you've got to be prepared, and there's so many different like things that can go wrong, and yeah, it's pretty hectic sport. But like they're the things also that make me love it too. You know, like it's pretty different like that.
Even the equipment side of it's crazy because you're not like you get a quiver from a shaper to do the QS, right?
Yeah.
And you're like giving feedback, testing boards, and then you get like, oh, this is the magic stick. And then you go like, yeah, just give me a 9-10 foot gun and I don't know, just see how it goes. So it's not even on the preparation side of the equipment. You're just testing on game day, which everyone's like, don't test on game day.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like that's how I did think it was. But there is a lot of like tweaking that you can do, and
Even
you can
by
surf
not
those,
surfing.
Yeah, for sure. Like if your big board goes good when it's small, usually it's going to go good when it's big. If you can turn that board when you take off on a small wave, 2 foot burley or whatever, it usually means it's going to go all right when it gets bigger, like, which is a bit of a general rule.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either until like I started getting more into it. And the more you just, it's like opening a can of worms, really.
Yeah, I mean, and you could go like either way with it too. You could go so in circles, like chasing your tail.
Yeah.
I guess that's why you got to have a good shaper that you just kind of trust, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, far out. I mean...
Have you ever shaped a board?
No.
Why don't you do that?
I know. I've cut the twin fin the swallowtail section out of a twin fin before. But that's about the extent of my board shaping.
I got so nerdy with my surfing at one point where I was always like, so me and Maddie, we grew up doing like BMX and motocross, and we'd like always build our own bikes with our dad because there's all the maintenance that goes into it, and then we'd build our jumps that we'd jump in BMX. So like we were always like building stuff. And then I got into surfing and I was like, I can't fucking build anything. I can't build the wave I ride. I buy the board. So I actually had a friend who was like trying to get into shaping. And I was like, dude, I'm coming in shaping a board. And I still go, it's the ugliest thing ever. I ride it all the time. But it's like enjoying a meal that you've cooked or whatever, you know what I mean? So do it.
No, I definitely want to try far out.
Because Wilco went up and he did it like, because he hasn't for years. He's like, dude, it was actually really, really fun.
Did you see that one that Paul Fisher did? The
dick.
Yeah,
the dick
my
board.
God, that was funny, hey. He actually surfed it okay too.
I can't believe the Mad Hueys haven't offered that up on like their online store or something.
I know. Far out. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
So are you going to try and get back on the world tour this year? Or so you're starting to do... Oh, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I didn't know with your... surfing is one of those sports where there's such a... it's like surfing and skating and all the... Anything that there's a judge sport, like wakeboarding, where there's like judges' discretion, you get a group of people that say, fuck that noise. I don't want like it being in the hands of the judges. So I didn't know if you fell in that category of like, I don't know that, you know, I want to just be that. Yeah, okay.
I was like, when I was just like, fuck, why am I competing? What does it all mean? You know, like, why am I traveling around the world doing this? And, you know, it's pretty
because you could get paid to do it without having to compete.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Especially like if you're a female and you're smart in the way you market yourself as well, you can definitely, and there's a lot of different categories that you can
put yourself into.
Yeah, so, but yeah. I mean, I was like that for a while, but now the fire's like ignited again. I'm fully like hell bent on qualifying for the tour, and
so it was the fact that to prepare to surf cow bomby and the bigger waves, you had to like really get in shape and find a new focus, and then that focus you then sort of said, well, I should apply this now to what I never did when I was surfing.
Yeah, definitely. And just I actually like loved surfing again because for a while I was just hating it. Like
what about it was like just was it more
everything, like
the industry or the competitive side of it?
Like everything. It was like over it. I was like over traveling. I was over being away from family, and like you got stuff going on at home and you feel like you never, you know, it's just Yeah, it's just hard to be away from
It's a grind.
Yeah. Well, the QS is quite hard. Like the waves aren't that great usually. But like, I mean, my mindset's definitely changed a lot now. Like I talk about how I was back then, but now I'm super positive about it. And I just see it as an opportunity, and I'm like psyched to go to every event, and I want to do well, and I'm like hungry for it. But back then I was just, my God, it's like the last thing I wanted to do.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to like the whole travel thing. I started traveling in probably like '08. And just always, that's why this is called Gypsy Tales, because like that was the joke, because everyone's like, oh, Jason's gypsy, he's just cruising around. And then that's really what it was. And you get to a point where you get super used to that lifestyle, and then it's like weird because you sort of you're like, oh, I'm over it, but then you're so used to it that going back to a normal routine actually gets quite hard.
Yeah, I know, I totally agree. Far out. If I'm in like one spot for too long, geez, I just like get itchy feet. I'm like, shit, like I need to go somewhere. I got to do something. Like,
and it's weird too. Like you end up having a weird relationship with holidays.
Yeah.
Because you'd never really go on a holiday. Like even Maddie said to me the other day, because I was like, oh man, we should do like a film thing where we get like Mikey to come to Cairns and go to like the outer east and try and find a break and film it. And Maddie's like, why don't we just do it for fun?
Yeah.
Because you get so used to this mentality of like always producing something, always like.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like creating something.
And
then
you're always trying to, you got something to achieve while you're there.
Yeah, it's never just like a scot-free holiday where you're there for absolutely nothing other than just to be with your friends.
I don't remember the last time I went anywhere without a board.
Yeah, okay.
Or a board, one single board, or usually it's about 12 or something, but far out. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I went somewhere without a board.
So how's the qualifying going? How far into it are you?
Well, season's just started. We've had one big event over in Florida. And,
the waves are pumping there. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, but you've got to take what you can get on the QS. We don't have that many events, so it was an event and it popped up. So opportunity.
Where was it in Florida?
Sebastian Inlet. Yeah.
Oh, where all the sharks are.
Yeah, and crocodiles or alligators or whatever. And but yeah, I mean there was waves, and I mean I had one really good heat and then I got knocked out, so I didn't get the result I wanted. And then we've got a few smaller events over in Australia right now. There's been a couple of 1,000, so they're all rated out of like 1,000, 6,000 being the highest, 1,000 being the lowest. And so we've had one 6,000 event, a couple of smaller rated ones. The one I'm competing in at the moment is a 1,000. And then we got two more big 6,000s in Australia, which is awesome because it's like homegrown, home advantage.
Probably surfed a lot of those waves before.
Yeah. One's in Newcastle, and then the other's Manly. So
do they still call that Surf Fest in Newcastle?
Yeah, they do. Yep, they do.
Yeah, I was there with Matt Hoy once.
He's a rat bag, eh?
Oh, man, he's a terror. He's actually coming on the podcast with Mikey Wright.
Oh, good. That'll be so good.
I won't be drinking Red Bull on that podcast.
I will be listening to that podcast.
I'll be drinking Tall Boys of BB with those two terrors. They're like the kindred spirits. They're so connected, eh? Like, there's Mikey and Hoy, like even the way they surf to the way that they like just carry themselves. That's going to be pretty classic.
Yeah, my God. I'll be listening.
But yeah, we had Matt. So I was doing work for a motocross team. And then there was like this cross promotion between motocross and surf fest, because I think the motocross round was at Raymond Terrace in Newcastle that weekend. And then the surf fest was on as well. So we got a couple of the boys, motocross boys, to surf. And then we got a couple of the surfer boys to ride motocross. And so Bo Edmonton, he'd rode motos before. It was Bo's idea, really, because like Oakley was the sponsor of the team.
Yep.
So then Bo's like, yeah, let's do it. It'll be sick. And Hoy rocks up, and we put him on a like 60 horsepower 450, which like I don't even want to ride.
Is that fast? I have no idea.
It's like I've been riding my whole life, and I don't want a 450. I don't need that. Right. It's like getting on an R1, like an R1 street bike.
What's an R1?
You know, like those street bike, the fast Yamahas that you see people and like they go by in traffic.
Oh, and that makes a real loud noise.
Yeah, like a MotoGP bike.
Yeah, I know. Those ones. Yeah, I know.
So it's like putting a dude on that. So, and a dirt track with massive jumps, and so Matt just gets straight on this thing and just goes through. You know, like they got the roller sections, like the whoop-de-doo. Yeah. Just goes whoop, 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 and just cartwheels this thing straight up. So he's a terror. That's my surf fest memory.
Nice.
So I think we breezed over Cow Bommy. That was pretty significant in like, I guess, women's surfing in general, because you were the first chick that ever surfed that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like all this media came about after it, but that was like never my intention to like go be the first ever or.
Yeah.
And I ended up breaking like Lane's record. Lane Beachley held the record up until that point of like the biggest wave ever surfed by Australian female. And people started after that session. There was video and photos, and people started talking about it. Like, shit, is this like maybe the biggest wave ever by an Aussie female? And
what was the wave that Lane surfed?
I think it might have even because when she was dating Ken Bradshaw, that's who it was. She surfed a lot of bigger waves around Hawaii, like Himalayas and Avalanche.
Like the outer reef kind
yeah,
of
those
waves.
ones. And she towed those waves. And I think there was a photo somewhere, and I don't know. It was on the cover of a mag, maybe. But then I also... Maybe she went somewhere in Mexico too. Shit, I don't know.
Mexico gets big waves.
Yeah. I don't know where that was.
But it wasn't Cow Bombing and you beat the record.
Exactly.
So I guess we sort of strayed off when you were saying that you had 6 hours to think about it. That'd suck. So did you have the confidence that you could actually do this, or was it something where you were like, yeah, I'll do that, and then it happens and you're like, then you start having to kind of do it?
I've always got this thing inside me that just kind of makes me go, I think. And like sometimes like I have a tendency to zone out of certain situations or just to switch off, and like some people just find it really hard to do that. And I think sometimes that's the thing that gives me an advantage when it goes coming to big waves or like making decisions like that, because I'm like,
just go.
I'll just do it. Yeah. I mean, obviously
there's skills to back it up.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're not scared, there's definitely something wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's when you know, all right, maybe I'm a bit
I shouldn't
tweaked,
do this, yeah.
you know. But yeah, I mean, there was moments where I was just like, holy shit, what am I getting myself into? And I mean, I'd never even seen like a tow board. I'd seen them before, but I'd never held one before, and I hadn't got my own tow board. So I borrowed someone's tow board from the Goldie, Billy Watson, and JJ, my boyfriend. He was like, yeah, I'll go get you. I'll organise you a tow board. We went around there to pick it up, and I picked the thing up, and I was like, fuck, this thing isn't going to float. Like, it was so heavy. And, packed it in the board bag, went over. And then, like, once you arrive in Perth, you've got a 3-hour drive down south. And then that night, the guy who I was with, Paul Patterson, who's, like, renowned big wave surfer, like so experienced, and he was like, yeah, I'll take you out, like, look after you, set everything up. And he's like setting up his tow board, and he's like a maniac. Like he had been injured for like, I can't remember if it was 5 weeks or 5 months, but either way, that's a long time to be injured and not been surfing at all. It was first surf back was like 20-foot cow bombing. I was like,
some dudes just have that gear, eh?
Yeah, he's the one that isn't scared, you know. He's one of those. And anyway, he was like up pacing all night. So I was like, he's like, yeah, I can hear it's like big. It's got to be big. Like, it feels good.
And you're like, I don't need this,
man. Don't tell me that. And we get up, and because the wave breaks so far out, you have no idea what it's like going to be like. You can there's one section that you can kind of just see it like breaking, like a lookout point when you drive around the corner into Gracetown, where you launch the ski. But I had no idea what to expect. Yeah. And so we launched the ski, and we start getting out there, and then it's like maybe 15 minutes on a ski. It's like 2.5 Ks out to sea, and start getting closer and closer. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's it there. And pull up, and the biggest set comes through, and it's so loud. Like, it sounds like, I don't know, a bomb's going off, sounds like.
Yeah.
It's fucking loud. And a few of the boys are like already out there, and they're all towing at this point because it was super windy, like windy in the morning.
People paddle cow bombing?
Oh yeah, people paddle. Yeah, but
it obviously gets too big at points to do it.
Yeah. So the swell was like increasing the day. Oh no, was it? Yeah, it was increasing the day we were there, and everyone was pretty much towing until the afternoon when it glassed off a bit. And a few people, the guy who I was with, Paul Patterson, first surf back, jumps on, paddles out at cow bombing on his like 12-0. And he's like, yeah, first surf in 5 weeks or something. And I was like, you are a maniac. But people mainly tow it. Yeah, I mean, because it breaks so far out, there's so much water moving that it's so hard to match the speed of that wave. Guys are running like 12-0s out there, which is pretty big these days now in that big wave world. Like guys at Jaws, when I was there the last couple of years for the contest, you know, guys like Kai Lenny are riding like 9.8s. Yeah, and
Albie Leia rides real short boards too.
Yeah, and like epoxies and like little swallowtails at the end. Like but that wave, like, I mean, the last couple of years, the first year was pretty windy at Jaws. This last year just gone was like amazing conditions. Like you just don't get that kind of no wind out there. Like Maui's like renowned for wind. And yeah, I mean, the guys are just riding smaller and smaller boats and fully doing turns and
like
stuff.
taking off under the lip, basically.
I know. It's crazy. I think one day there will be like, there won't even be like a big wave world tour and a world tour.
They'll just start going
to all
of
them. Like,
yeah.
how can you say you're the world's best surfer at surfing waves under like 10 foot, you know, like, or
unless you're John.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's like the first dude that is like the world champion.
He's like bridging the gap between that, you know, like what the Eddie, what is it?
Yeah,
like
he won the Eddie.
Yeah.
He won. Well, did he win pipe this year?
Oh, no, he hasn't won pipe.
No, that's right. Well, he's won the has he won like the
Triple
Vulcan
Crown.
Pro or something there? Like, or he's won nothing.
I should know
there.
this.
Yeah, I should as well.
But he's world champ. He won the Eddie.
He rips at pipe
Jaws.
anyway.
He was out at Jaws, like on that other swell. Like it's just he's bridging the gap, and I just feel like
because the dude like Philippe Toledo ain't gonna paddle out at Jaws.
Well,
you know.
I mean, we don't know, but I think he went out at Waimea like the other day. I saw something maybe, but
yeah, it's interesting you say that you think that there will be a point where there's no like you'll just go to those spots as a part of the tour.
Yeah, I mean, like you look at guys like Kyle Lenning is like starting to do calves on the faces out there, and like it's just I think there has to be a point where that happens because I even look at I don't know I've always thought this, but like it's like how can you say you're the best if you're not doing all of it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just my opinion, but
maybe they could have like a Triple Crown within so you got 3 events of the World Big Wave and then 3 events of the World Tour, and then if you end up winning a combined points total of that, then there's another thing that you win.
Yeah,
because that could be pretty cool. Because like some dudes, man, like I don't know if Medina's gonna go out there. I don't know if like Toledo would go out I mean they might, but
I spoke to Mick after and he's like, mate, you're crazy. You're crazy. No, I'd never go. And I'm like, yeah, you would. You're just saying that, but you would.
If you had to.
Yeah, I know.
Because that Code Red Tahiti swell, like you saw a couple dudes come out like Owen. Which is like charging it. Josh Kerr, he's not scared of big waves. So there is a couple dudes on there.
No, there definitely is.
So it'd be cool to give them that option.
I know,
and then like in those 3 events, say it's on like the World Tour, you give like Kyle Lenny, they just get a spot in the World Tour for those 3 events.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like get a crossover. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
All right, we're just making moves here on this podcast. A bit of Red Bull, a bit of a yard. Yeah, we're going. We're going to sign this off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, back to Cow Bomber. We keep getting distracted, which is fine.
Yeah.
How deep is that where it breaks? Like, does it break onto does it go from super deep water to reef, or is it like, I'm thinking consequence wise when you come off, like what are you sort of dealing with?
Well, I mean, you're dealing with
just a lot of water.
Yeah,
obviously.
a lot of water and a lot of power. I haven't heard of anyone hitting the bottom. I don't really want to say I haven't. Well, I haven't, but touch wood, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, I don't want to be touching the bottom there.
Yeah, so it still breaks in like crazy deep water.
It's pretty deep. Yeah, it's really deep. But and like something about that I don't really like either, you know, like how far down are you really going? Especially that day too, like I was the only person out there without an inflatable suit because I didn't have one.
Come on, JJ.
No, I know.
Your management
so I didn't have one, and all the other boys did, and they obviously I was wearing like a PFD, like a thin PFD.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that's it, mate. And I was like, I got like 5 waves, and at the pretty much except for 2 of them I rode out, the other 3 caught up to me, and I got just like jumped off and put my feet out the straps. But far out, like I'd hate to think how deep I was going and like going.
How long do you think you were under for?
I don't know. I mean, it always seems longer when you're under there. Like it always does. But like when you got a heightened heart rate, everything's a lot harder, you know. And I mean, before I even caught my first wave, I got 3 of the biggest waves of like sets on the head of the day, and this like should never have happened. This was so stupid. But
so what happened?
Like I was out there, and because that big set had just rolled through, it was the first time I'd had to look at the Cow Bommy, And after that was a massive lull. So no waves. And because you're so
they
far...
get big lulls out there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You don't know, like, quite where the lineup is. Like, you can kind of tell where littlest swells, 10, 20-foot swells are, like, coming through. Like, yeah, okay, this kind of looks like it.
Yeah, it's not a gauge where the big dogs are going to break.
Nah. And anyway, so because I hadn't really towed with straps before properly, like, I towed with just a regular board. The ski driver was like, okay, like, you got to get the feel of, like, getting behind the jet ski with the straps. All right, let's do it. And we're kind of like facing in towards the shore. And I was just fucking around and I couldn't get my feet in the straps. And I was just like, crap, Anyway, and try to get up on this one and turn around. He's like, oh shit. Like, he's like, hold on. And I cause I had never done it before. Like, he tried to like pull me up out of the water and I cooked it. And then he's like, I'm going to have to leave you. And I turn around and it was like the biggest set of the morning. I was just like, fuck, all right, here we go. Yeah. And I was like, and that's one of those moments what I was talking about before. Like, maybe if I was like one of those people that think about everything, like, I can't turn off my brain, that I would have freaked out then. But I was just like,
oh, well, this is me now.
Like, all right. I don't know what it is, but it's just something like, I don't know, some weird bit of courage or like courageousness.
That's why you're a professional surfer and I'm not.
Something weird, I don't know what it is. Something super weird.
And so then you got pumped by that set.
Yeah. And then like the next one and the one after. But by the time the first one had gone through, I was pretty far like washed in. But after that, I was like, well, shit, that's the worst that can happen, Like, so I may as well just give it a crack now. And I think it was like one of the best things that could have happened because...
It just took the edge off.
Oh, totally took the edge off. And I was just like, well, let's do it.
That is wild to me to just do that. And so then when you what's the experience of the ones that you actually did get?
To be honest, it's weird because when you're towing in, you can't see like how big the wave is, like because you're coming in from behind and you're towing in behind the jet ski. And they're like, yeah, this is the one. Like, it looks like a sick one. I'm like, stop saying it looks like a bomb or a sick one. Like, I just want like,
tow me in, mate.
Just like,
let me
ease
go.
me in. Anyway, you're like going. You kind of like they're trying to tell me like when to let go of the rope and stuff, and you start S-ing down the face and like, don't cut back too much, because you don't want to.
Then you'll get caught behind it and just get completely pumped.
Yeah. They'll just like you really want to bend your legs because you just want like basically like survival stance.
Yeah.
And anyway, but yeah, it's pretty weird because you're like S-ing down the face of a wave. You don't really know how big it is. And then I remember on my first one, I was like, okay, shit, it started to break because you can obviously hear it so loud. And I just like looked back and I was...
How big did that thing look when you were on it?
When I was like going down the face, like approaching it from behind, not that big. And then as I started to go down the face, I was like, it's taking a while to get down the face here. I was like, this is definitely one of the bigger waves that I've ever had. Like I'd paddled waves before down in Margaret River that have been big, but
yeah, it's a different deal though. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have so much respect for the guys that do it and that dedicate their whole life to it. Like far out. They're so experienced and...
Well, that's where that whole term comes in, like waterman, because you can't just be a surfer at that point.
No, you just so experienced at so many different things, and so many things can go wrong, and so many different situations, and there's boats and jet skis and V1 suits and like the oxygen suits, and you got to replace canisters and like safety and rescues and navigating the lineup and boats and oh my god, it's just so much. And then you like look at people like Kyle Laney, and he's like one of my favorite surfers. I think he's amazing. Like he's amazing. The way he like, I did a GoPro trip last year in June and we were in the Mentawais, and he was on it, and he like became one of my favorite surfers. Then the way he like transitions between like SUP and kite surfing and foiling and just
even like the distance paddling that he does. Like he's a full on athlete.
Yeah, he's like amazing. The way he just does it so fluidly between each of them is just incredible. Like I think he's like one hands down. Him and John and Kelly and a couple others are like my favorite surfers. He's so good, so good.
And then so when you get back from that trip and the press and all that stuff comes out, what was that like? Because when you say like, oh, I didn't do it for those reasons, I wasn't trying to be the first girl. Like I've worked with enough athletes to know that in the moment, like you don't reflect on what you're doing in the moment because it's not really of any use to you.
No.
But it's only like, so when guys retire, they go
Yeah.
like, fuck, that was a pretty good career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like when you're in the moment as an athlete that's doing what you're doing, the reflection serves you no purpose. So what was it like to actually complete what you went out there to do? And then you start getting the emails and the TV and, and then did it hit home what you actually did?
I didn't think it was you don't know the size of the waves that you're catching when you do it as well. So I was like, oh, like, was it that big, And then one of my friends who was filming out there that day sent me a screen grab and I messaged it to me, and I saw it when my friend was driving me to the airport that night, and he sent it to me. He's like, here's a couple from today. And I was like, fuck, it was big, eh? And, so, and then I forwarded it to JJ, and he was like, oh my God.
Oh, so he didn't go out with you?
No, he didn't come over. He just fully bombed the swell by myself. Yeah. But yeah, it was really funny. Until you see photos and footage from the day, and it was like that at Jaws too. You don't really realise how big it is when you're on the wave, I don't reckon. Until you're getting smoked. Like this year I went over the falls at Jaws, oh my God. Just not the situation you want to be in.
And was that a different animal to cow bombing?
Oops, sorry.
No, you're right.
What was that, sorry?
Was that like a different feeling to getting pumped at cow bombing, or it's the
I
same
got
as
so
soon as they're
smoked.
that big?
You can go online and look at it far out. I'm going to post it one day. I don't know. It's just so funny. Funny now, but at the time, this year before Jaws, I was training so hard and I was really prepared to go back, because the year before that I got third and there was 12 girls in it, and it was it was a good achievement for me, and I was so psyched to get back there last year and just do the best I'd ever done. I really wanted to do well. And then a month out I tore my MCL, and I've been training so hard, and I got invited back, and they don't just hand out invites to everyone, and I was like, shit, I'm injured, and it was so hard because I've been training for it, and then I kind of almost had it taken away from me. When I first did the injury, I did it at D-bar, 2-foot D-bar.
That's how they happen.
Oh, I was so devastated. I came up the beach, I was fully crying. I was just like, I'm not going to be able to go to Jaws. And at that point, it really made me realise, though, how much I did want to go. Yeah. Because before that, I was far out. This is serious. Because once you'd been once the year before, I knew how serious it was.
Yeah, you knew how real it was.
But it made that moment, though, as much as it sucked, made me realise how much I really wanted it. But it sucked because mentally and physically.
Then it just put you on the back, on a back foot kind of thing.
I had a torn MCL, and I was going to surf the biggest waves in the world. And I was a month out, and I'd only surfed twice before Jaws on a shortboard going straight. So just
to see if the knee held up kind of thing.
And I was kind of in the position where I was like, if I don't go, I might not get invited back next year. I have to commit. And so I just committed to it, and yeah, it was tough because I trained for it, and then mentally I wasn't there. And then anyway, so I was all these things were going through my head and flying over, and I was like, all right, just got to do it. Just freaking do it. And it's just in the channel, going out in the boat, you're waiting, you're watching the guys' heats, and then there's one women's heat this year. The year before there was 12 women, and then they condensed it to 6 last year, sorry. And so you're waiting out, paddling out for my heat. I'm like, all right, let's just do it. And then the heat starts, a couple of the girls catch waves, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to wait for a bomb. I'm sitting out there, and big set comes through, and it's halfway through the heat. I'm like, shit, I got to go because the heats are an hour long. Don't have that much time. I've got to get a bomb. And I start stroking into this one, and I'd only rode this other board too. It was a 10-4, and I'd only rode it once before this. And anyway, I got 1/3 down the face, and then my front foot came off, and I just got absolutely lit up.
Just holy,
I cartwheeled down the face, and then because it was the first wave of the set, I got the next one on the head, but the first wave of the set, I pulled both oxygen canisters, because what happened, I pulled one first, and I was like, I want to see how long I can last without it. I was like, shit, all right, and I can pull one. And I pulled one, and then I was slowly coming up, and I was far out, just getting ragdolled. And my board at that point was like full, you know, you have these massive leg
leads
ropes
on.
and the board was just pulling me and I could feel it and I knew I was deep down because it was like fully tombstoning.
How long was your leash?
10 or 12 foot.
So 12, so you got a 24 foot.
Oh, let's see.
You're 24 foot underwater.
Yeah.
And with the board coming down as well.
Oh, like it's
deep.
Yeah, pretty deep. And I was like, crap, I'm not coming up. Pull the other one. And I finally started to punch through the foam. And I was so inflated that by the time the next wave came, I couldn't do anything. I was just like, So I was like, I may as well try and go down. So I like tried to bob down and like, as I bobbed down, obviously I bobbed up because was so inflated. And the next wave just hits me like square in the face. And I just got smoked and rolled all the way in. I didn't know at that point, but this jet ski driver like came and picked me up, and then I like jumped on the back of the sled, started pulling my board up. It's like I snapped my board, and on the like.
Oh, really?
So I caught a total of like 3.33 waves on that board or something. I was like, damn it. You know, those boards aren't cheap.
And
too.
I was going to say, it's
bloody hell.
not like you can just go to bloody the local rip curl and get one.
Because I was like, as soon as I picked it up, I was like, this is a lifer board, you know. This is one of those ones
I'll have forever.
Yeah, I'm never saying that ever again.
Not for 5 minutes.
No.
I'm just going to pee real quick.
Okay.
That's the first time I've had to pee in a podcast. I was going to say, I never do that. So, yeah, you snap your board.
Yep.
Then what?
Oh, and then I get back on the ski, where I'm like getting a lift back out. And because I'd used my suit, the V1, the Billabong one, has 2 oxygen canisters. I'd used both. So needed to get those replaced because you can't reuse them.
Yeah, you can't go back out without them.
And so I get back out into the channel, and JJ's there at this point. He's here at Jaws, and he's in the channel. And he's like, oh, we got to change these. And like trying to unscrew them because there's so much pressure in there. They're like so hard. And some of the guys are yelling at him like, oh, Brad, just unscrew it, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, it's like there's so much pressure. It's so hard. And he's like, unscrew it. It's all you got to do. Like,
it's like the full pasta thing. Like, here, can you do this?
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, I unscrew them, put them back in, swap boards, get back out there, have another crack, but far out.
So how did you go in that event?
Oh, I got 6. So
they knocked 6 out.
No. So this year there was only 6.
Oh, so there was only 6. Yeah.
Last year, end of last year, there was only 6 women. The year before that, there was 12. Yeah. So I got 6. I was just like not happy with my performance at all. Like it just sucked because one, I was injured, just mentally and physically, I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I was training so hard before that I was so psyched for it. And I just couldn't show what I wanted to do, you know. So it was hard. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you'll get another chance.
Yeah.
Fires you up.
Yeah.
So with that, like, so you're a pretty avid, like, conservationist. Mm-hmm. So I was, like we said before, like, is there anything you want to talk about? And then you're like, the sexism things, like, let's not go there, which is cool. But one of my other questions, like, if we were going to talk about that is the conservation side of it is like, is that what we should really be worrying about in the surf industry? Is the conservation over all the other bullshit? You know what I mean? Because without, like, if we just keep doing what we're doing to the oceans and you're not respecting that environment, then there isn't even room to have like a sexism debate. You know what I mean?
I know. I was definitely way on the, it's top priority for me. And especially being like surfers, we use the ocean every single day.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of custodians of the ocean, and feel like it's kind of our duty to, protect it and get the word out and do whatever we can. And for me, it's super important, especially growing up in a place like Australia and especially Western Australia. And like we have such beautiful coastlines there. And I just like so strongly want to protect it and keep it the way that it is. And yeah, I feel pretty strongly about it.
So did the love for the ocean come before surfing, or did you get a love for the ocean through surfing?
No, I mean, I was always, like, I grew up a beach baby pretty much. I got 2 younger brothers. My mum and dad grew up in West Oz, and they just like take us out of school if it was like a nice day, and like we'd just all go to the beach. But ever since I can remember, we'd just be going to the beach. And just spending like all day there. My mum loved it. Well, she loves it. My dad still loves it. He's like the eternal grummet. He's like way more stoked to go surfing than me now. Like these days still. Like it's so funny. Like he's so stoked to
Just
go surfing.
frothing all the time.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Is he froth when he sees like other pro dudes that he like loves, or is he like one of those dads?
But now he's trying to like play
Play
it
it
real
cool
cool.
bit,
Like,
yeah.
nah, I don't care about that now, Floss. I don't really care about pro surfing or any of that. Like, I just go surf. I'm like, yeah, Dad, you froth so
Sure,
hard on
mate.
it.
Sure,
I know, and
mate.
it like now because he used to be really involved in like my junior career and like coaching me, and he would he'd oversee everything when I was living back in Western Australia, and now I live on the Gold Coast, and I've been here for 4 years, and before that I was in Sydney for 2 years. And so since I've been away, he tries to act like he doesn't really know what's going on, or like he doesn't
I'm
really
down the loop,
care.
yeah.
It's like all or nothing. He's a Taurus, so it's like you either want me fully 100% or you don't want me at all.
Yeah.
But he acts like he doesn't, but I know he does, because he's like, he'll call me up and he'll be like, yeah, Floss, how'd you go in your last heat? I'm like, yeah, I got her.
Mate, you watched it live.
Yeah, exactly. No, and he's like, oh yeah, but at the end you should have done this and this. I'm like, I know you watched it.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, it's pretty funny.
We were just talking today actually with our last guest, Adrian, about the whole like dads not letting go in sports.
Oh.
Was there literally a point with you and your dad where you were like, all right, I'm a big kid now? Or did he say you're a big kid now? Because like there's guys, like there's still dudes on tour that are in their mid-20s that travel with their whole family.
Yeah. Some people that works well with. For me and my dad, like I appreciate everything he did for me so much, but
Because there is a lot of sacrifice on their end.
Oh
like
my
massively.
God, yeah, so much. And I have two younger brothers too, and like they're both really talented at soccer, and one's like really incredible, and he went to go play in New York, and like he's
No shit.
yeah, he's really, really talented, and now he's back in Australia, and keep trying to tell him that he should be playing for Perth Glory, but I don't know.
Who's
It's
he
another
play
story. I want him to play for Perth Glory, like, but he's just got back to Australia because he got a scholarship to go play over in the US.
Like at a college.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in New York, and now he's back, and I'm like, you should. Anyway, this is a different story. But for me and my dad, like, it actually took me to move away, and now I realize now, I'm like, shit, we have a way better relationship.
Yeah,
now
I was going to say, you probably have a better
we do.
relationship.
We totally do. And I think there's a point that only so much your parents can do for you. Like, unless they're like studied coaching or like sports psychology
Yeah.
or like a strength and conditioning, like unless there's a certain point where you have to
There's
move
a
on.
legitimate like expertise that you can
Yeah.
need. Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. Like, I appreciate so much for everything that he's done for me. But like now I have like I have a strength and conditioning coach, and I have a surf coach as well. And like, there's just that point where you have to, you move, like you just grow, and you change, and your needs are different. Like, there was a point where it was good.
The sport's hard and competing's hard, and then you don't want, you want somewhere to go.
Yeah.
When the shit hits the fan, and if your dad is a part of the shit hitting the fan, or where do you go?
Exactly.
Then,
That's
know
how
what I mean?
it got like that, and I was just like,
And I think that people, like parents, see it as like almost like a mini betrayal, not like a full blown backstab that kind of betrayal, but it's almost like you don't need me anymore. But it's like, no, I need you, but I need you in a different way. I just need the dad version of you for when all this other shit doesn't work right. So it's like, so I need you. It's just not, I just don't need you as a surf coach or you know what I mean? And I think that, a lot of dads, like we see it in a ton of sports that we're involved in, where they just can't let go to that point. It's like, be the thing I need now.
Yeah.
I needed everything up from you when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But now I'm a professional, and I don't need all that stuff, but I need a dad.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree. It just took me literally moving away. I was moving away. Like, I moved like for surfing as well, because like being in West Oz, you're so remote over there. Especially when I was basing myself down south, like it's another 3 hours away from Perth. But I'm glad like that it did. I mean, we have such a good relationship now, and it's way better than what it was before. So that's good.
And so what kind of activism stuff are you involved with?
So
what's the real passion there for you with that?
Well, for me, I mean, I always try and do like as much as I can, whenever I have a bit, like if I have time or whatever. But I'm like an ambassador for the MSC, which is like the Marine Stewardship Council, and they're the governing body for sustainable seafood. And I've done it. It's been cool because I've been able to combine like my passion for art and then also ocean conservation. And down at Bondi there, they have the big like that big wall, like
I've seen the mural thing.
Yeah, and I've done that like 2 years or 3 years in a row now, and like created a different mural to raise awareness for World Oceans Day. And so that's been really cool because that's like two passions, and all the team there are really cool and they're really nice to work with. What else? I did a trip to the Galapagos. This was like a few years ago now. This was back in 2013, but it was awesome. It was actually with Kentucky, but they'd set it up with shark savers, and we went and like dived with all these like amazing sharks up there.
Galapagos sharks. They've got a bunch of species that are like only found in the Galapagos,
endemic,
right?
to the area. And there's like Galapagos sharks, there's hammerheads there, and like the place that we went and snorkeled and dived was incredible. Like massive schools. It's like David Attenborough style. Like it was crazy. It was like one of the best things I've ever done. But basically what we're doing there is like counting sharks and citizen science. And you can go around anywhere you go in the world. If you're like an avid diver or a snorkeler or whatever, and you're in Fiji or Tahiti, you can like log on to this like website and
so what's the website?
Shark Savers. And you can like lodge your information there and like just write what you saw or whatever. But that was a really cool trip. And we went on that trip with Celine Cousteau, who's Jacques Cousteau's granddaughter. So and she's like an amazing, conservationist. So just even like being around her and listening to what she had to say was like incredible. So that was really, really cool. It was a good trip. Is
the platform that you've got through surfing because I think you definitely see people that like all it is like, yep, pay me to be in surfing. I'll post some Instagrams. I'll do some trips. I'll cruise around the world. This is a dope lifestyle. And that's kind of where it stops.
Yep.
And are you so you're pretty passionate about actually using your platform for something?
Well, definitely. I mean, even more and more now, like just so sick and tired of like how fake it can get to, and like it's just such a highlight reel. And I just like this year is like a year for me to get more real and just tell it how it is a bit more. And like you don't always have to be happy, you don't always have to be sad. And especially like there's so many young impressionable girls, and not even young, just women everywhere and men. Like it's just nice now just for me to be like, shit, just say what you feel, because I don't know, it's just nice. It's nice. And I've got like amazing responses from that too, and actually because I'm sure everyone goes on social media and just like starts scrolling, and like you always, like how often do you get off that thing feeling better about yourself or something, so it's nice for me to like get positive responses back from people, or like, oh, that was really cool, or like, and they're sharing their stories, or like anything like that. It's been really good. And like especially if I can like promote ocean conservation or any kind of positive message, I'm always going to try and do that for sure. It's definitely,
I mean, when you look at how long social media has been around, it's like just so new that you really, it's like if you like when you are trying to prove a new drug for the FDA, there's like an approval process of years to see what it does to human consumption. Like Facebook and Instagram, they don't have to do none of that shit. They just like let it out. They're like, hey, go for it, guys. So it's like we're in a time like so have you seen that in your experience? Have you seen like a negative side of it to where you're like, I don't know if I'm on board with that side of it anymore?
I mean, definitely there's negatives to it, but I think there's a lot of positives as well. Like I've met some really cool people through it too, and like found some amazing things that I never would have found before if it wasn't for social media. But
it's just like it's a tool, right? You can build a hammer, you can build an orphan a house with a hammer, or you can hit someone in the head with it. It's like it's it's just how you use it. In a weird analogy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny. Well, not really, but
not hitting someone in the head with a hammer is funny,
but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty like careful in what I endorse on there too, I guess, as well. Like so much bullshit on there. Like, I really am gonna be using the product if I am endorsing it, like I'm pretty picky now too. I'm not just gonna say yes to everything because it's just stupid, I think. And
I guess there's no, like you said, you've got positive feedback now out of it, and like yeah, it's interesting. I've never really had anyone say like, do you feel better when you get off like a scroll?
Because
it's like, you're right. It's like, doesn't really do that much.
No, it's just so much of people's highlight reels. It's just that snapshot in time. And I'm just like, I just try and find, and like, it's so easy for like people to just like get so obsessed with like trying to be like this or look like this or be like now I'm just trying to find like real proper role models, like people that actually inspire me for what they do. And like, like it's, but Instagram's great for that too. It's
yeah.
I don't know. So is Facebook. It's good and bad. Just got to good.
What could people? I think like one of the hurdles for conservation is people like, I'm just one person. I can't do, you know what I mean? I can't make a change or whatever. So like in your experience with the stuff that you've done, like say it's like, so let's play devil's advocate of like, oh well, I'm not Flick with 150 whatever thousand followers. Like what can I do? So it's like, have you experienced things that, one person can do? Like you said, you know, you go and count wildlife.
Yeah, I mean,
that.
that's
so
like a perfect example, you know, even just like
where should the average Joe start if they're like listening to this?
Yeah, I mean, even things like, I do it every time I'm at the beach, like even just taking 3 pieces of rubbish, you know, like anything you see, like even small things like that really do make a difference. Like it's, it's crazy, you know, like... Yeah, every time I go to the beach, I do that. And, you know, I could always easily just think, oh, I won't pick that up. Someone else will do it. You know, not mine. But just little things like that definitely make a difference. And if we all started to do it, really would make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. When did you get into the art side of things?
So my dad's an artist. He's a ceramicist. And he's been doing it for like 23 years. And he's like amazing. He's incredible.
Does he have an Instagram?
No, no.
We can plug him, mate.
No, he doesn't. But his name's Warwick Palmateer. But he works for another artist named Pippin Drysdale, and she's like world-renowned ceramicist. And my dad throws the form on the wheel, and she glazes it, so she paints it. But her work is absolutely incredible.
What kind of stuff do they do?
So it's like. Okay, it's all inspired by like the topography of like the West Australian coastline or like the Northern Territory or like Australian outback, and there's like a lot of earthy colours, but it's the form that's so amazing. Like they're perfectly thrown, and my dad's eye for perfection is like incredible. And they're thrown with porcelain, and they when you like buy an installation, so there'll be like a set of like ceramics. Yeah, no, you just need to go Google it far out.
I'll pull it up on when I do the edit, I'll pull it up on the thing so people can actually see it.
It's like insane. And so he's done that for so many years, and he passed that on to me, passed art on to me. And my mum studied fashion design when I was younger too. So it was like always just something that was encouraged, and I'd always just loved doing it. And I've done it. I was doing art before I was surfing. It's just as much of a passion of mine as what surfing is. And so that's where it all started. And then my brothers are pretty artistic too, but they just never really do it. Yeah. And but now that I'm surfing so much, I don't have that much time for it.
But so like I've seen stuff where you've like painted your boards, and you've done like you did like some inlays and things like that as well.
Yeah. I mean, so a few years back when I had my whole like I hate surfing year and a half. That not really so,
spoiled,
you know.
You spoiled brat moment.
Yeah. No. I'll just over. I need to find the love again. And I just got fully engrossed in art, which was really cool. And had a solo exhibition in Sydney, in Paddington, and like that was cool to actually work towards like a whole bit like a date and time and like put a body of work together. So that was really cool. And then I got to take that same exhibition over to Margaret River in Western Australia and have it there, which was also awesome because I had people that I hadn't seen in like 10 years like drive down south to Margaret River, and it was crazy. There was like 150 people there. It was nuts. It was at a winery, Cape Mentelle, and it was just like an awesome night. It was like one of the best nights of my life. Like my family was there, and like people I hadn't seen in years, and friends, and like it was on during when the World Tour was there.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
a lot of those girls came as well. So it was really cool. Like Carissa Moore and like Alessa Quizon came, and Courtney Conolog came. And so just even to have the sport of those girls there as well was awesome. But now I'm just so engrossed in surfing that I haven't had time for it. But I've got so many different ideas that I want to do, and just going to have to find the time. So I don't know when, but...
Was it cool to, like, because I guess when you're a professional athlete, you kind of expect to receive praise and accolades for surfing. So it's sort of like just comes with the territory to where, like, it's like we were saying before, you're not really reflecting while you're in it. And then, you know, you might win a heat, you might do this, or people will show up to watch your contest. You kind of just expect that.
Yeah.
Is there like a different gratification that comes out of the art side of it? Because it's like, you're not famous for art.
No.
So was that like, is that why it was maybe more special to you?
Yeah, it was good, but I mean, it's funny, like, when one of the girls who's competing, like, yeah, it's really good. Like, you know, they actually mean it rather than, yeah, your wave was really good.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, you know. But it's genuine, and people, like, I don't know, it feels good. It's just, I'm so passionate about it. And because I'd put all my energy into it, and it's all me, like, surfing's all me too, but it's just different. It's so different. It was refreshing for me to do that, because I've surfed my whole life and put all my energy into it and so much sacrifice, and then to stop like focusing so much on one thing and do that was really like gratifying. Oh, is that a word? I don't even know.
Yeah.
It was really good. It's just, and there was something different too. And I was like learning as I was doing it. So not with surfing that you're always learning in surfing, but with something
to a
new.
different thing.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, there's so much more I want to do and learn that, I'm excited for the future. But right now, surfing's like my focus.
So just paint some boards until you can get another.
I don't even
going.
have time to paint boards anymore. Fuck.
So with you're saying like right before you're saying you're going to go from here to the to that recovery center.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that, because that's stuff. I might actually come and go down there and check that out.
Yeah, you should. It's so good. Seriously.
Will it help my ribs?
Oh yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. It's probably bruising, so I'm not sure about that. But sorry, I've got like a tap nose.
That's from bloody all the jaws and just smashing up.
No,
there.
it's from my heat today. No, maybe it probably is. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so this place, P3 Sports and Recovery.
So where is that?
On Courtney Drive in Burleigh, and it's amazing. So they've just opened up maybe about 4 months ago, and it's right behind the gym that I train at, Elevation, which is awesome. So
is that what you train at, Maddie? Oh, he's locked in.
Oh.
He's what? I think Maddie trains there as well. Yeah, that's why Maddie trains.
Yeah, so you can like go to Elevation there, and then just around the corner is P3, and oh my god, it's like the best combo ever.
So what have they got in there?
So inside P3, they've got a bunch of different stuff. They've got wet and dry therapy. Wet therapy is 4 big like pools. So there's ice pool, hot pool, ice magnesium, and hot magnesium. And you can alternate between all 4, and that's what I'm about to go and do, because I've just been on the conveyor belt out at surfing. So I'm going to do that. And then they've also got a hyperbaric chamber in there. They've got a vibrosauna in there. Then they've got this massive room with, I don't even know what it's, they got like pro ice in this massive room. So it's like set up like a big cinema. They've got all these big comfy chairs, and then they've got like Foxtel. And then you can go sit in the chairs. I don't know if you've seen like the footy players do it, and they sit in the chairs with like the big bags on their arms and stuff. So they got that in there as well.
And that just pumps like cold fluid through the things, right? And it compresses them as well.
The airbag things compress you, but then when I did my knee, I was in there I did a lot of pro ice, and so that pumps like ice cold water continually around your knee, and then it compresses it at the same time. Which is really good. But those guys have been amazing, like far out. Especially before I went to Jaws, I was there every single day. I was in the hyperbaric chamber, and I was in the wet therapy, and but it's like incredible because you can train as hard as you want to go, and then just go to P3, and then the next day, like you're not nowhere near sore, if not sore at all. Like it's crazy. I miss it so much when I'm traveling, because I'll do a workout and then the next day I'm like all stiff and sore, and like, you know, obviously I try and stretch and roll out, but far out, having that right there is just amazing, and so close to where I live in Burleigh is just incredible. Like the magnesium baths are so like so good. Like, I just, at the end of my session, I just sit in the hot magnesium for like ages and I just like bliss out. It's so good. It's good for like muscle recovery and promoting oxygen, and then jumping back and forth between the hot bath and the heat, ice bath and the heat and the hot bath creates like a muscle pump effect. So it starts pumping the blood around your muscles and it reduces lactic acid. So it's amazing for if you've just done a really hard session. And also just really good for like, I find like jet lag and even just like probably if you're hungover too, snap you straight out of it. But the magnesium's awesome. Good for stress and anxiety and just like really blisses you out. I'm about to go do that and I'm so excited.
Is that cool? Like a part of, I guess we were saying the whole social media thing. Like that's one of the reasons I like doing the podcast is just like giving people info.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of people are pretty busy to the point where it's like, you don't really have time to, you're not sitting and researching a lot of different stuff. So it's like, if you can just give people these little tidbits of information and if it resonates with them, then it's like, oh, maybe I should Google that. Maybe I should look into that.
Yeah.
So it's like, is that a pretty cool part about your platform is like spreading, I guess surfing's always had like a wellness kind of image associated to it.
Yeah.
So is that like a part of like the message you're stoked to really help people feel better?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, especially like places like that, like they're all just health and well-being, and this place is incredible. Seriously, like not even like you don't have to be injured just to go there. Like I think a lot of people might think, oh, it's only if you're injured, but far out, you're gonna feel 20 times better if you're going there every week than if you're not. It's just like, yeah, I reckon it makes me a happier person too. Makes my skin glow. Like it's so good. It's like, it's God. I wish there was one in every state or like every record.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely getting bigger. Like the whole cryotherapy thing's getting bigger. The whole like float tanks.
Yeah.
Like I just think general wellness, like people being interested in wellness, is getting better. And honestly, social media I think is like a huge part of that because you're seeing what I guess that's part of being an athlete is with the whole Instagram world now. You can see what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
So like before that was so. Locker room kind of deal.
Well, that's the thing. Like, how much do you want to share on there? Because
you want
to have the advantage, And I'm real careful about what I do there too. Like, I don't want to share what I'm doing when I'm training, but like P3, I feel like it's something that everyone
help a lot of people.
Like it is amazing, and I love it so much. Like, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty selective with. I don't want to give too much away. Like, they're your secrets. You need to like keep some of it, but yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Everything is a lot more accessible. Every now and then I'll post something, but pretty selective.
Yeah, try to keep it under wraps.
Gotta have an advantage.
So what's your year looking like? 1st of Feb. Oh, we probably shouldn't say when we're recording that. It's going to release it Monday. It's all good. But like, what's your year kind of looking like? What's best case scenario this year for you?
Qualify for the World Tour. It's one of my goals.
So what's like, I guess obviously we said you got to do the QS, but what countries are you going to?
So,
what's that sort of?
QS, there's like 7 big events, which are the 6,000s. And next 2 are in Australia, Newcastle, Manly. And then I have 3 weeks off and then I head to Western Australia. And I've got a spot in the trials there for the World Tour event. Hopefully win that, get into the main event. And then...
do you get points if you get into the main event? Yeah,
you get points. So if you got like...
If you're in the main event, say you win the WSL event, then does that qualify or does that add to your QS total?
Yeah, so if I got like 4 wild cards into 4 World Tour events and I won them all and I finished in the top 10 on the World Tour, I qualify for the tour.
No shit.
Yeah.
So there's big incentive to do that.
Yeah. But it's hard to get wild cards into every event. Like... I get WA because I'm from there and they have the trials there. Like Snapper, it's like real hard to get into. Like I'm pretty sure Roxy get like 4 spots. WSL get 2. Like Snapper board riders get 2 or whatever. Like it's real hard to get in there. But you can. And then, so over to Margaret River. And then I usually spend a bit of time there because I don't get back there that much. Usually once or twice a year. It's not enough. And then, then where? Oh, and then over to Mexico. That's the next big event. So that'll be fun. And then up to California, Oceanside, which is just north of San Diego there. And then...
Where does it... Do they run it on the south of the pier there?
South of the pier, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Which can get good.
Can. 1 year I was there, it was good.
Yeah.
Every other year's been pretty small, but
That's where I learned to surf.
Oh,
was
really?
Oceanside, yeah.
Oh my
and I used to
God.
surf the pier because we grew up in Cairns, so I'd
Yeah.
never surfed in my life. And then when I moved to America in like 2011, then my buddies that I lived with were from Sydney and they surfed. So I was like, I went down to Jack Surfboards, bought a secondhand surfboard, and then spent every single day at Oceanside just grinding. But I found out after a while that like that Oceanside Harbour is actually a lot better.
oh, that the left there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that comes off the break wall, but they've changed it all now. Like it's terrible. They dredged all the sand out of it.
Oh,
So like no one really surfs there. But that place used to be sick.
yeah.
So Oceanside was my jam.
Far out, eh? Oceanside. I feel like Oceanside's kind of getting kind of trendy.
Boy, it's
now.
on its way
Yeah, it
up
is.
in a
I know. I know.
big way. If I could buy property in California right now, I'd buy an Oceanside. And
Yeah.
I've said that from like ages because before, man, you couldn't even get a coffee there. Like there wasn't even a Starbucks at Oceanside.
No, and it's trendy now.
And it's cool, like, and it's so close to San Diego. Then you've got, it's like really the only spot between San Clemente, like that's the first town is Oceanside, and then you've got Encinitas, Carlsbad. So like you got to think people that commute, Oceanside's the spot,
Yeah.
and it does get good waves where on the
Oh,
coastline.
Encinitas is near there too.
Yep.
Like I feel like it's a good area too. Well, it's getting better. I picked up on that last time I was there. I was like, I feel like it's getting trendy.
I got a bunch of friends that live there now that grew up in like Encinitas and Carlsbad. Like
And they
they're
live in
locals.
Oceanside.
Yeah, because they can't afford to. They couldn't
Yeah.
afford to buy anything in
Yeah.
Carlsbad or Encinitas, so they got loans to buy apartments and stuff in Oceanside.
Yeah.
A couple of them are like flipping them now, and they're actually like starting to
Whoa.
because everything's going up there. So it's a pretty nice spot. I just got a van in the States, and I'm gonna because I'm up in LA.
Yeah.
So and then I do a ton of golf work, and the whole golf industry is in Carlsbad. So I'm like, I was kind of torn between like, do I move to Carlsbad? Do I stay in LA? So I got a van. So that's Carlsbad State Beach.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to park there for like 2-3 days a week, me and my
Nice.
girlfriend, dog, and do that whole
Nice.
thing. So try and get the best of both worlds.
Nice.
Because it is pretty cool down there.
Yeah. I mean, I like being down. Encinitas is a cool town.
Yeah,
Eh?
yeah.
Far out. It's really cool. Really cool. Good food. Lots of yoga spots.
Yeah, that's a pretty rad little community. So, so where can people find you? Sponsors. Let's do the little plug thing at the end here. Tell people some cool stuff you got going on. Like, get some shout outs going.
Well, if you want to see more, you can check me out on Insta, and it's just at Flick Palmateer. Facebook's the same, and that's about it, really. That's all I got.
Who's the main sponos?
Wow.
Give us the spono plug.
Wow. I mean, my main sponsor's Billabong, and they've been amazing.
So go buy some bikinis, girls,
Wow.
guys, if you're into that.
I mean, they're good. They're bloody good. I've been with them since I've been 13, 14. So, been real supportive. I love them. They're good. Supportive through everything. When I didn't want to compete, when I do.
Yeah.
And then Channel Islands, surfboards, very good. Nudie Juice.
What's nudie juice?
Nudie Juice is amazing.
What
Have you
is
not
it?
tried it?
No. What is it?
My God. Do yourself a favour.
Where can I buy it?
Woolworths or Coles.
All right.
Do it. It's amazing.
What's
And
it all
there's
about?
No nasties. Taglines are creators of good and no nasties. So no bullshit in their juices. And all their products are really tasty. So good. Orange juices, veggie juices, like just really good. Coconut yogurts. Dude, they're so good. Fresh juice section. Get on it.
All right, cool.
Yep.
I'll check that out. I didn't know.
Yeah. You can see some more stuff at 24, which is cool. I post
the app.
I post exclusive content there a few times a month, so you can check that out.
So that's an app, right?
Yep, it's
so
an
you
app.
just go to the app store.
Yeah, download the app, and then you'll be able to see a few bits of things that I don't post anywhere else. So it's just exclusive to there, which is pretty cool. And then
You got a YouTube channel and stuff as well?
yeah, I
do. You
do, but
as
I
much stuff with that?
don't go there at the moment.
Yeah, okay.
Just I don't know. Just still deciding if I'm gonna like pursue that avenue or not. It's just
Yeah.
a lot of work.
It is a
Far
lot
out.
of work.
A lot of work. But we'll see. There's a few things on there if you want to check it out. But
New website coming maybe?
yes, I don't know. Soon. So we'll.
Owlpine Group. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I think, what have we done? Hour and something. So really appreciate you coming in, making time for us. I know you smoked.
It's all right.
I can testify that the sweep is ridiculous, and I
Yes.
stayed in bed this morning when I got asked to surf, so I know where you're at right now. Appreciate you coming in. Enjoy your P3 sesh, and let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No dramas.
Thanks.
You bloody legend.
No worries.